If you're thinking about selling or buying a home in the Ottawa area, you've probably heard a lot of conflicting information about the Ottawa real estate market. Headlines are screaming, the market is crashing, or spring is always the best time to sell. But is it really true? Today, I'm going to bust some of those most common Ottawa real estate myths so that you can make right decision based on facts and not fear. Stick around by the end. I'll even share a myth that some real estate professionals themselves sometimes believe and why it's misleading in our market. Let's chat. Myth number one is the market is crashing. Let's start with this big one. The market is crashing. The truth? Ottawa's market doesn't behave like some of the other bigger, more volatile cities in Canada. Here's why. Ottawa has a stable job market with federal government jobs, provincial government jobs, tech companies, healthcare, and also education. People continue to move here for work. More people means ongoing demand for homes. Yes, prices have cooled from the highs of 2020 to 2022. For example, the average detached home in Ottawa jumped around 60 to 70% in that period. And then we saw a dip of roughly 10 to 15% in some areas. That is a market correction, not a crash. For example, last year, a client of mine listed their home, worried it wouldn't sell. Within 2 weeks, it sold above asking. That shows there's still demand, especially if your home is priced correctly. So if you're hearing the crash narrative, remember Ottawa's market is adjusting and not collapsing. Myth number two is spring is always the best time to sell. Let's be honest, spring is definitely popular. Buyers are active, the weather is nice, it's getting warmer, homes look great with the flowers in bloom, and some buyers start their search early to be settled in for the school year. But that doesn't mean it's automatically the best season for everyone. Here's the reality: supply and demand. Fewer homes on the market in the winter or fall can make your home stand out. Buyer motivation is another one. Serious buyers shop year round, especially those relocating for jobs or for school. The other thing is your readiness. I say this all the time. The best time to sell is when you are ready. Financially, logistically, and also emotionally. You have to be prepared. If you're ready and you've planned accordingly, it's okay to sell in the winter. I had a client a few years ago sell in December. It was actually December 31st. I remember having company at the house and I was negotiating an offer in the basement while everybody was partying upstairs. Sometimes having fewer competing listings is also not a bad thing. Timing matters, but the spring only myth isn't always true. Myth number three is you always need 20% down. Here is one that scares especially first-time home buyers. You need that 20% to put down. Actually, in Canada, the minimum down payment is 5% for homes under $500,000. Between $500,000 and a million, it's 5% of the first 500,000 and 10% of the rest. If you're buying a house over $1 million, then yes, it is 20%. Let's look at the Ottawa numbers. If you're buying, let's say, a $550,000 condo with 5% down, your monthly payments are significantly lower than you might think. And you can get started without having to wait years to save that 20%. It's getting tougher and tougher to save all that money for your 20% down. So in this case, your down payment on a $550,000 home would be approximately $30,000. Programs like first-time homebuyer incentives, RSP home buyers plan can make a big difference in your home purchase. Don't let the 20% myth stop you from exploring homeownership. Myth number 4 is you don't need an agent, just use the internet. Certainly, websites like realtor.ca are very helpful, but they only show you part of the picture. A real estate agent will provide access to sold data, market trends. You'll also get expert negotiating strategies. You'll also get neighborhood insights, marketing, and networking that only listings alone cannot match. Also, the extensive paperwork required for the house purchase, that realtor is there to guide you and help you through all of that paperwork. One client tried to buy a home on their own. They lost out to another buyer who had an agent guiding them through the strategy, the offers, negotiating, and all the complex paperwork. In Ottawa, having the right agent can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars, not to mention the stress and the headaches that go along with all the paperwork, all the decision making when you're buying a property. Myth number 5 is if you price high, you can always negotiate down. This one is the dangerous one. Let's price it high and see what happens. Buyers will negotiate down. The problem with this is that buyers often ignore those overpriced homes. In Ottawa, savvy buyers check the market, they know what's going on, and they can spot inflated prices. I had a listing last year that sat for quite a long time just because the price was a little bit too high. The sellers wanted to test the market and see what was going to happen. Once we adjusted the price to where it should have been, we received multiple offers within the week. Pricing correctly from the start creates urgency, competition, and often a better result than trying to chase the market down. Myth number 6 is renovations always pay for themselves. This is one you have to be very careful because not all renovations add equal value. Cosmetic updates like fresh paint, new flooring, landscaping often give the highest return because when buyers come to the house, the first impression is always very important. High-end kitchens, luxury pools, maybe not. They appeal to a smaller buyer pool. I saw a listing a few weeks ago where the seller spent over $75,000 on the high-end kitchen. The buyers cared more about the landscaping, the curb appeal, what it looked like when they first got to the property. When you're selling, the small strategic updates make a bigger impact than those expensive remodel. Staging your home can also have a big impact on how quickly the house will sell, and sometimes it'll sell at a higher price. Be cautious of those upgrades, those renovations, before you just put it on the market. Myth number 7 is you can time the market perfectly. This is basically, I can wait for the perfect time to buy or sell my house. News, rates, and headlines make it tempting to wait, but interest rates, inventory, and personal readiness matter far more than guessing that perfect time to put it on the market. I've seen buyers wait for rates to drop, but they could miss their dream home. Ottawa's market moves steadily. Perfect timing is rarely predictable. Myth number 8 is open houses sell homes. This one is sometimes talked about where I'm going to do an open house and it's going to guarantee a sale right after the open house. In Ottawa, most homes will sell through private showings or offers from buyers working with other agents. Serious and approved buyers will likely not wait for Sunday to go see that open house. They will go when their agent is ready, when they're available. It could be a Tuesday morning, Thursday afternoon, Friday night. You just never know when those buyers are going to come look at the house. Open houses are great for exposure, but professional marketing, great photos, videos, drone shots, and networking usually do more to sell a house than an actual open house. Don't get me wrong, open houses are not a bad thing, but don't expect to have an open house and get an offer right after the open house. This is real life. This is not a TV show. Now I want to hear from you. Which myth surprised you the most? Comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you've heard of another myth that bugs you or that you're not sure about, make sure you drop that too. We might cover that in our next video. So this wraps it up about the Ottawa real estate market myths debunked. The takeaway: facts, local data, and professional guidance matter more than the headlines or the hearsay or you heard it from a neighbor. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more straight talk on real estate. In the meantime, if you have any questions about buying or selling, make sure to give me a quick call, or you can always email me at jeanricher@jeanricher.com. Merci beaucoup et bonne journée.